with his brother's graduation stuff.
Okay.
I try to step out of the other.
Okay. But you could speak to the matter?
I can.
Okay, very good.
I think tonight was my
That was the
So
goal.
do we have the applicant here? I know
Yeah.
it's starting in a moment.
Yep.
Okay. So is it going to be, is it Daryl Sanders or someone else?
It's Mr. John Colantoni.
Okay, very good. Mr. John Colantoni. Okay. Very good.
Yep, so I'm ready when you guys are.
Lou, are you all set, Lou? Are you for us to turn the on switch and then we can
Yes, I'm ready to begin. I have
Okay.
I have the agenda in front of me, so I can begin speaking whenever you tell me to.
Very good. And I will I can let you know if
Will do.
it's not
I'm
if it's
standing
not
by.
obvious. Very good.
You want me to start? Let me start.
Sure.
Hello, Lou.
Hello, Lou.
So we're good
So
to
we're
go.
good to go.
Okay. Sounds good. I am hearing a little bit of an echo, Josh, though, just so you know.
That's a lot of an echo.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I fixed it, I think.
I think you did. Great. Thank you. Okay, so we're ready to go. Good evening. My name is Lou George. I'm the clerk of the Danvers Planning Board, and we're here tonight for a public meeting, June 13th, 2023 at 7 p.m. I'm actually participating remotely. I'm away on business, but luckily I'm able to participate. This is a hybrid meeting, and my colleagues are present here at the on site at the Danvers Senior Center at 25 Stone Street. So I have here this evening, in addition to myself, who's participating remotely, as said, Jim Sears. I should say at the outset, Jim Sears, our chair, will not be participating in tonight's meeting, and so I will, as clerk of the board, I'll be participating as acting chair. And so I'm joined as well today by our members, Tori Adler, who will be serving as acting clerk this evening, Jean Hartnett, and Tim Spittle. And we're also assisted with town staff tonight, Josh Morris. And so, so in terms of I think we got the preliminaries taken care of here. And so let's move on to the first item on the agenda this evening. So this is the Chatham Estates subdivision, map 15, lot 27, the establishment of a tripartite agreement and the release of the covenant for the subdivision requested by Chatham Estates LLC, care of Daryl Sanders, manager. And so it's my understanding that the applicant is present, that Mr. Sanders is not present today, but I believe that Mr. John Colantoni will be presenting. So if the applicant is ready, if he can present, that would be great.
Thank you very much, John Colantoni, for Chatham Estates, for the record. We have submitted the figures in the application for the tripartite agreement for Chatham Estates, giving the breakdown of work that's left to be done. When we submitted it, we put the figures in that would be our cost to do it. And then, of course, the engineering department of Danvers has to look at it, and if all of a sudden they had to take it over for some crazy reason, what it would cost the municipality, and obviously it's always more money. So Mr. King and Mr. Clark, I think, gave to the planning department, their figures. We've talked to Mr. Clark and Mr. King since then, and we have no problem with that. The first time around is always, on the tripartite, is always much higher, and then as we get more stuff done, we come in for the reductions. So what you see, we have no problems from the engineering department, and we would ask the board's blessing for a yes vote on that, so we continue to move forward on the project.
Okay. And just before we go on to questions from the board, Mr. Colantoni, I just wanted to double check. So so in reviewing the recommendation from Stephen King, I think it's dated here June the 8th. I think that the figure that we have in terms of a recommendation is the amount of, the figure I have is $591,975 and 24 cents with a estimated completion date of December 31st, 2024. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, great, very good, thank you. Okay, Mr. Colantoni, do you have any other further comments at all, or before I turn it over to the questions from members of the board?
No, that's it. I'll be glad to answer any questions that I can.
Okay, perfect. That sounds great. Okay, so why don't we move on? Let's start with questions from the board. Why don't we start with Jean?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, Tim.
Likewise, no questions.
Okay.
I don't
Tori.
have any questions either.
Okay, got it. The only questions I would have, and this might be more directed towards staff, Josh, sort of what sort of the in terms of our in terms of the protocol, in terms of what do we need to, obviously we need to, it looks like we have several potential actions here. So it looks like we have a release of covenant, as well as then a creation of the tripartite agreement. Is that correct? And we sort of need a motion for both of those?
Yeah, I have a motion in the folder, and I could give it to the board, the paper copy. Essentially, what we're doing is we're accepting the tripartite agreement between the board, the developer, and the bank. And then once we've done that, we are then releasing the covenant, which was sort of replacing it, but we're just going to do that first. So that's the process.
Okay.
That's what we're here for tonight.
Okay. So in terms of what actually has to go, that we have to, that we have to discuss and has to be read into the record. Yep. What's sort of the order of things? Would it be would it be the motion first, and then actually the release, and then the tripartite agreement itself? It's all in
one motion.
Okay.
So just kind of one action, but in the motion it's both actions.
Right. Okay. But what does I know for typical in terms of our decisions, I mean, is it necessary to read into the record the tripartite agreement as well as the release of covenant, or just the motion would suffice?
Just the motion would suffice this evening.
Understood. Okay. Got it. Okay. So before moving on to that, and I just want to check in just with the applicant, just with a question. Mr. Colantoni, just in terms of I know that I think I saw in the paperwork that the applicant would anticipate completion sooner than 2024. I know obviously we want to do that I think it was recommended that the date of 2024, but is that where we sort of are in terms of, could you give me sort of a timeline in terms of when this all would be anticipated to be completion, at least as far as you know?
We don't foresee any problems the way things are going right now. Being finished by December 2024, and it will probably be, before that.
Okay.
Exactly when, sort of depends on some designs of houses with some of the buyers, things of that sort. But we'll be surprised if we go all the way to December 2024.
Okay, very good. All right, sounds good. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, so I know this is not a public hearing. This is a public meeting. Is there, Josh? Is there anybody in the audience at all? Anyone who has any, who's present, who has any questions?
There is a member, there's a resident present, but he indicated, I think, that he doesn't have any comments. So.
Okay. Okay. Very good. So I guess I'll turn things back to the board. Does the board have any further questions at all before I ask for a motion? Yeah.
Everyone is indicating they do not.
Okay. Very good. So so I could ask for a motion. Tori, can I ask you for a motion, please?
Yeah, should I read this motion? I have it in front of me. It's just that it begins saying that motion is duly made and seconded, and
Maybe that, yeah, where it just starts
I will begin with the motion.
Yeah.
Motion. The Danvers Planning Board, having been requested by Chatham Estates LLC as successor or assigns of North Street Development LLC, hereinafter referred to as the developer, to accept a performance guarantee in the form of a tripartite agreement by and among the developer, Bank Gloucester, a banking corporation having a usual place of business at 160 Main Street, Gloucester, Massachusetts, 01930, hereinafter referred to as the bank, and the Planning Board of the Town of Danvers in the amount of $591,975 and 24 cents. Let's see, that's $591,975.24. Do hereby vote to accept the tripartite agreement and to release the covenant dated February 8th, 2022, and recorded with the Southern Essex Registry of Deeds in Book 40829, page 361, for lots 1 through 6 inclusive, on a plan entitled Chatham Estates, Danvers, Mass., dated May 25th, 2021, revised through February 7th, 2022, prepared by the Williams and Sparages and recorded with the Southern Essex Registry of Deeds in Book 40829, Plan 358. The developer agrees to complete the work no later than December 31st, 2024, unless said date shall be extended by a written amendment to the tripartite agreement.
Very, very good. Thank you, Tori. A motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Jean. Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Okay. Thank you. The motion carries.
Thank you very much. It was nice to see everyone. Appreciate the time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thanks. Okay. Very good. Josh, do you, just give me a moment here. I'm just going to move.
We'll talk tomorrow.
Okay. Great. And it looks like our next item here is, we do have the, I believe we have minutes here. So thank you for getting those over to us here. And so let's take a look. So it looks like we have, two sets of minutes. So the first set of minutes is from April 25th, 2023. And so these are minutes that were, these are minutes in which at the board members present were myself, Tim Spittle, and Jean Hartnett. Jim Sears and Tori Adler were absent from the meeting. So so I'm not sure if anyone has. So we do want to have a vote on these minutes. I believe that we do have a sufficient number of members in attendance to be able to vote this evening on the minutes. Does anyone, have people had the chance to review the minutes? And if so, I'd like to entertain, well, first of all, have people reviewed the minutes? Have there been any, does anyone have any suggested revisions or changes?
No, looks good.
Okay, all right. I'd like to then, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes of April 25th, 2023 as written.
Seconded.
I'd like to entertain a motion. So is that,
Yeah.
Tim,
Ti-
Tim, were you moving?
Oh, sorry, I thought you said motion. Yeah.
I was entertaining a motion. Okay, so Tim
Motion
first.
to-
Is there a second?
Yeah, motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, very good. So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
Nope.
I'm abstaining since I was not at that meeting.
Okay, very good. So the minutes do pass with the with Tori's abstention as noted. Very good. Thank you. Okay, let's look at the next set of minutes. Okay, next set of minutes. This is from our meeting of May 30th, 2023, and this was the participants at the meeting. We have all of our participants here this evening. We have, except Jim Sears is not present. Is not present today, and I believe I note here that that Tori Adler was also not present at the meeting. But we do have a.
Lou, I would feel comfortable voting on this. I was watching on YouTube.
Okay, very good. Okay. That sounds good then. So, did anyone have any changes or corrections to the minutes? These are the minutes dealing with the multifamily zoning requirements for the MBTA communities.
So this was obviously
Okay.
not something we were voting on, but there was sort of takeaways of what the proposal would be. Like, what other deliverables will come beyond this to sort of capture what was discussed?
Right, and Josh, you want to add a little bit of this? I mean, I think this was just me. This was most of it. This was mostly sort of it was more of a discussion in terms of what the in terms of the MBTA communities and a presentation.
Right.
Well, let me ask this a different way.
Yes,
'Cause
right.
I think this is fine. It mostly covers what we talked about. But
Sure.
if the zoning changes are going to be proposed and put forward for a town meeting vote, like, is this all that captures?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
That was just that was just a very preliminary discussion conversation. When we, in the fall, when we, it's kind of more, what we put together is kind of more, we know exactly what we're gonna do. We have to have a public hearing, official formal public hearing for any of those zoning amendments that we were talking about in the fall, and it has to be within a certain amount of days of town meeting. So there will be a more formal process in the fall when we officially make any of those changes.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yep.
Okay.
Makes sense.
And they will have to be it has to be a public hearing that's advertised twice in the newspaper, and it's a pretty rigorous process.
Okay. Sounds good. Josh, did we if I recall, I think we did discuss this at the tail end of the meeting, sort of where we go from here.
Mm-hmm.
Is that reflected in the minutes here?
I believe at the probably be at the end. Hold on one sec.
Okay. Yeah, just because that sort of is sort of responsive to Tim's question. So I'm wondering if there is a need to add a sentence or two, just again, just to confirm.
I mean, that slide with I'm now recalling the slide with the timeline for,
Oh, right, that's right.
like, that's part of the record, so I think that's probably fine, right?
When I talked to Brian on Monday, Tuesday, he said that he was off by a year.
Oh, the MBTA communities. Yeah, that's right.
So we're still ahead of the schedule, but it's not 2 years like we thought it's 1 year.
That's right. I don't know, Lou, I don't know if you could hear Gene, but,
Yes, I did. Mhm.
sorry.
Okay, got it. So that's more of a correction of that's not correction, but clarification of something that was discussed at the meeting.
That's right.
Okay, got it. Okay. So is there anything, do we need to add anything in terms of it? Do the minutes, I guess, accurately reflect what took place at last couple of weeks ago?
I would say yes.
Okay. Okay. The only thing I would add here, just as a note, is that and this is as I was looking at this a little more closely, there's just a correction. In the very last, the second to last paragraph, there was a notation here that I was traveling but will attend June 27th remotely. That, I believe, it actually should have said June 13th remotely, which is what I'm doing tonight,
Yes, I can make that change.
because I will be in town on
Sure.
on the 27th.
Yep. No, that's good.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Any other comments by the board with respect to these minutes before I entertain a motion to accept them as amended, just with that minor date change? Okay. I guess hearing none, I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the minutes to accept the minutes of the May 30th, 2023 meeting with that minor correction as I mentioned earlier.
Motion.
Is there a motion?
Yep. Motion to approve minutes.
Yep. Thank you, Tim. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Jean, thank you. And I know Tori indicated he would be voting on this. So all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Okay, opposed? None? And no abstentions. Okay, very good. So the minutes are passed. Excellent. Thank you. Okay. I think that's it in terms of our agenda for this evening. I guess just turning back to things, Josh, where do just in terms of for scheduling and such, where are we looking at now in terms of upcoming meetings?
Sure. So our next meeting is 2 weeks from tonight, June 27th. There's a site plan application for 103 Newbury Street. It's a mobile home park expansion, proposed mobile home.
Okay.
On Route 1.
Okay.
Our next regularly scheduled meeting is after that is July 24th. We do not, as we speak at this moment, have a formal application at this moment, but I've heard from a couple development.
July 25th?
Yeah, is that the Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I have
Okay.
heard that we potentially might be getting an application for that meeting that we just haven't received yet.
Okay.
But we will likely have an application for that night.
Okay.
There's no
That sounds
meeting
good.
on the 11th?
There's only historically we had only had one meeting
Okay.
in the month of July and August, so that's
Okay.
how we set it up. Obviously, if the group thinks differently or wants to meet more frequently, we could have that
Meet
conversation.
in August?
And there's one in August. Yes, I think it's in the
Okay.
August 22nd. It's that third or fourth Tuesday.
Okay.
I guess while we're on that topic, on that July 25th, does that date work for everyone? That's here. Just because if it's not, we could potentially move it around if needed, or
Let me.
because I know that.
You have to give me a moment,
That's fine.
Josh. Just give me a moment just to check
Yeah,
my calendar.
That's
Okay.
fine.
Give me a second.
I can attend. It may be remotely.
Okay,
July 25th.
very good.
Yeah, I have some work travel coming up here, so I wanted to just give me a moment. I want to just
Yep.
double check
Yep.
just to see. I have some work travel coming up in July, but I'm just not positive. Just to see, let me look real quickly. Let's see. No, I actually have I have work travel the immediate prior week, but the just so you know, the week of the 25th, I'm clear.
Okay. Very good.
Yep. So
That sounds great. And obviously, I'll
Yep.
I'll reach out to Jim.
okay. Yeah, the week of the 25th, I am clear. I do have potentially, and I can talk to you about this as well. I just realized I do have I do have another commitment in the earlier on in the evening, so I do want to.
Yeah, we could circle back offline if that's, or
Okay.
try and figure it out.
Yeah. Is Tori? Are you going to be out of the? Are you going to be out of the area on the 25th?
I'm not sure. I should be available to attend remotely if I'm not here. I won't be
Okay.
in another time zone.
Okay, got it. So, yeah, there's the possibility, Josh, that I might be. I mean, it's one of those. Yeah, I may or may not be available on that day, so I would have to double check.
Yep, we can, because we have so much time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is summer, and obviously, there's a lot of moving parts, people's
Right.
logistics. So,
Mhm.
I'll try and be
Yep.
I'll try and be upfront with. I guess we'll try and nail it down over the next week or so, maybe. If we
Okay.
have to move it, and I'll try and be try to be obviously as accommodating for everyone as possible.
Okay.
I know it. Everyone. It's a time that people like to do stuff with, their families and everything. So
Mhm.
we'll do the.
Right.
We only need 48 hours, so that's it.
Okay.
We can post it. We can have a meeting whenever. So
Okay. No, that sounds. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, because I realize we have an event with the Danvers Historical Society that's actually on the 25th, in the earlier part of the evening, but it would extend beyond into past 7 o'clock. So that's why.
sure,
But I would have to I would have to just double check in terms of that.
sure.
Okay. All right. Very good. Great. Any other things, Josh? Any other timing issues? I know that we had our discussion on MBTA communities. Is there anything? And I know that is there anything any further meetings that are going to be planned in that regard?
I'll have to circle back with Brian. I'm not sure if we wanted to do another one at the July or August meeting. Obviously,
Okay.
if not, it would obviously in September. We'll be there. We'll be getting close. So
Yeah.
it feels like we have a lot of time at this moment, but you'll blink and it will be September 1st. So I'll discuss that with him, and I'll circle back with the group if
Okay.
if we feel like would be beneficial. So
Okay. Yep. That sounds perfect.
mhm.
Very good. Anything else that that fellow board members would like to bring up, or Josh that you wanted to raise?
I don't think I have any additional comments, but if anything comes up,
Okay.
I'll share with the group.
Okay. Anything else from fellow members? Tori, Jean, Tim?
Yep.
Okay. Great. Well, very good. Well, sounds good. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for bearing with me here as I participated remotely here tonight. But so I guess we are hearing no other business. I will entertain a motion. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
Tori, do I have a second? Jean, second by Jean. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, none. Okay, very good. Well, thank you very much, everybody, and have a good evening.
Thanks, Lou.
Aye, Lou.
Okay, thank you. Yep, have a good night.
Thank you, Lou.
Yep, thank you. Okay, Josh, I'm going to sign off, okay?